everyone and welcome back. Today I want to share with you my Panda palette update for the month of April. I am doing the Naked 2 palette and I'm also doing the Vice 2 palette. I decided at the beginning of the year that I was going to try to finish the Naked 2 and try to hit in as many pans as possible in the Vice 2 palette. I mentioned why at the beginning of the year. I mentioned why I have so many problems with the Urban Decay eyeshadows, you know, the palette's getting old and all that stuff throughout, you know, this Panda palette updates, but also in the intro. So if you missed that and you want to check it out, it will be linked on the top of the screen right now. Before I move on to, you know, the progress that I have for this palette, I also wanted to share that I have a video where I mentioned 5 things that is wrong with the Naked 2 palette for my medium skin tone. I share there the struggles that I've been having with this palette. So if you want to check it out and you want to have a better idea of why I'm panning the shades that I'm panning and you know how I've been combining these shades, then please check out that video, also link on the top of the screen. Let's get started with the Naked 2 palette, which I think is the one that I had no idea that it was going to be so hard. I even think that the Naked 2 is harder than the Vice 2 palette at this point. And I am saying that because I've been wearing more color. I've been, I don't know, inspired to use more colors, so I can go to the Vice 2 for color, but this one I've been kind of stuck with the same looks over and over again. So this past month, or since the last update, I wanted to start to use not only the shades that I wanted to finish for this update, but also some of the shades that I know it's gonna take me some time to finish them completely. So it's kind of a mix of things for this update, but it was pretty successful, I have to say. I've been using some of these eyeshadows wet, especially the ones with glitter or shimmer, so I feel like that was a good point to use them up faster, or at least hit pan on these shades faster than if I was going to use them dry. I don't know, that's my opinion, that's my experience, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So the first shade that you can see here on the Naked 2 palette is Foxy. It looks the same, so there's nothing there to report. The next shade is the color Half Baked, and that one, it does have a little bit of pan. This was a surprise because I started to mix that with other cool shades in this palette, and I hit pan recently, so it wasn't something that I planned, but I'm excited that I did hit pan on that shade. The next color is Booty Call. I did finish that previously, so I didn't have to work on it this month. The next one is Chopper, which is pretty much the same. I don't think I used that color that much this past month. The next one is Tease, and that is the shade that I finished this month. I am so excited about finishing Tease. It was one of those harder shades, and I always felt like pressure to use it because even though I do have other matte shades that I can use as a transition, or I can use as a crease color, I still feel like I felt like I needed to use that shade instead, and I ended up having to mix it with other shades because it was not the best one for my skin tone and for my undertone. I'm excited that I finished it, but that kind of leaves me with the idea that I need to find matte shades in my collection to use as a transition and to use as a crease color, because there's nothing else here that I can use that way but the black that I can use in the outer corner. The next color is Snakebite, and as you can see, I did hit pan. I concentrated in, you know, some of the shades around Snakebite. I also hit pan in the color Suspect. As you can see right there, it's not too big, but it's, you know, it's still pan. I hit pan in the color Pistol, which was one of the shades that I started to use right away as soon as I started this challenge, because I thought that was going to be one of the harder shades in this palette, and also the color Verve. Now, what I've been doing is kind of a combination of all those shades and using them in the same way. For example, I would use one as a base, wet, and then I would wait for a few minutes, maybe a minute or so, and then as soon as it's dry, I would go over with another of these shades, wet, and then I would put another one that it's dry, and I would do this in different layers. It's just not one layer of each one of them. My eyeshadows are not as pigmented, but they're older, so I feel like if I don't put them in layers, they just don't really show up. And I kind of want to mention all of these shades at the same time because I use them all at the same time, and it made sense in my head anyways to hit pan in all of them kind of closer together, because I was using pretty much the same amount of each one of them together. And that was something that I wanted to do, but at the same time I didn't know if it was going to work and if I was going to like the looks that I came up with using those shades. So yeah, at the beginning it was kind of hard to find the perfect pairing for the crease color and also the transition colors for that combination of eyeshadows, but it was a good technique, and I will continue to do it until I can see at least more pan or finish some of the shades. Now, why Decay was one of the eyeshadows that I finished previously, so of course I didn't work on that one. The next one is Busted, which I do have good progress on, but nothing too crazy. I mean, it is not pan, and I don't think that anywhere close to hitting pan on that one, but it's a darker shade, so I kind of figured that it was going to take me longer. Now, Blackout, this one I use it every single day. I set my eyeliner and I use it in many different ways, in many different looks, but it doesn't look like it has been used a lot. So yeah, it's just one of those things that is going to take me probably until the end of the year, or maybe a little bit more to finish it complete. Now, for the Vice 2 palette, I do have progress, but I didn't hit pan in any of those eyeshadows. So I'm going to show you the ones that I used the most this month and show you the progress. So I ended up using the color Smoke Out quite a bit, the color Lovesick. And I mean, you can see some progress, but nothing crazy. I did use the color Shell Shock, which is too dramatic for me, and I think I'm ready to give up on that one. I also used quite a bit of Cokes, and I didn't use that much of X-Rated. So mostly those 4 shades are the ones that I've been working on, but let me tell you, they weren't easy to combine into different looks. So I felt like today I wanted something easy and colorful, so I went back to Voodoo and Betrayal. So I might even finish Voodoo and Betrayal before I hit pan in other shades, because I do like that combination. It's what I have on my eyes today. So nothing crazy on my Vice 2, but I feel like it kind of depends on how much I use the Naked 2, the progress that I can see in the Vice 2 palette. I am going to show you in the next week, hopefully, how I've been using these shades in different layers and how you can transform any looks even when you don't like them that much, or how I do it anyways. I mentioned that I've been layering eyeshadows and also using them wet, using them dry, and I've just been creating so many different looks. So I think it's only fair that I share with you guys one of the techniques that I've been using for layering, and one of the things that work for me anyways when I don't like the look that I came up with. And at the end of the day, I don't have an hour to do my eye look, so if I don't like it, what do I do when I don't like it? And that's what I'm gonna share with you, hopefully sometime next week when I have the time to do a tutorial. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're doing better with your palettes, that you're not as frustrated as I am, at least with the Naked 2. I'm pushing myself, and I'm hoping that I will learn a lot, but right now it feels like a lot of work and not so, I don't know, I feel like I'm still not comfortable enough with the Naked 2. I don't know what came into me when I purchased this, because these shades, I never liked them. I think it was more about the hype than the colors or the shades in this palette. So I'm kind of disappointed in myself about that, but at the same time, I feel like I still need to push myself to finish it. So I'm going to do my best to finish it by the end of the year. Even if I don't like it, just put my imagination to work and try to find different ways to make it work for me. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you on my next one.